So today we are going to try to make something very similar to this. This is a very simple fidget toy. It's a mesh tube that has a marble in it. So you can push the marble around. It's great for stimming, having something to play with in your pocket or something like that. I don't use this that much, but I know other people might like it more, and even just playing with it now, I'm like, ooh, this is fun. So I have some marbles, and I'm going to work on my knitting machine to make something similar to this, little shape right here. So we're going to start by looping and casting on our scrap yarn. Now, if you want the kind of straight edges, you need to do scrap yarn for best results. So we're going to loop in our first peg, and I think I'm going to do 9 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we just want to go and catch underneath right past the 9, and that's how we'll cast on. Now, because we're using the panel mode, you can either do this in panel mode or in circular mode and just make a panel, which is what I prefer. The counter won't work, so you have to count by hand. So just do a couple rows and end up right where you started for the scrap yarn. I like to go 3 passes, so I make sure it drops down below that first pin. Most people do 2, but I was always having trouble with that. It was very manual, and I just found that 3 passes actually works a lot better for me. So then we're going to switch to the yarn that we want for the body of the fidget toy. So for me, I'm using just Premier Just yarn from the dollar store, and I'm using the plush because I really like the texture of it. It's very soft. With any fidget or things like that, you want to make sure that they're softer. You don't want to use your scratchiest value yarn on them. You don't have to use expensive yarn, but you kind of want to be mindful of the textures, because a lot of people who use these toys are more sensitive to textures, like me, and so we want to be mindful of that. Now I'm going to put my waste yarn in the center, and then I'm going to roll back to here, and I'm going to loop this around. I'm going to give it enough of a tail, maybe about 8 inches, to throw into the center, that I will start with this next yarn. So now we're going to, now we're going to put it in the feeder, and we're going to start counting our rows. This is row 1. Go past that last peg so it drops down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let's measure this on the machine and see what it's like. I'm going to measure it while stretching it and stretch out the rest a little bit. Now, if we look at kind of the approximate length, we do want to give some room for it to slide. So we're at 16. Let's go to 20. 17, 18, 19. Now we're going to put on our cast off yarn, our scrap yarn, and then we're going to cast it off of the machine. Okay, so now that we have it off our tube, off our knitting machine, we have our start and our finish. I put the marble in here and just kind of saw, seeing how big the marble is relative to the tube, I think we probably could have done with 7 stitches wide instead of 9 stitches wide, but I do like the length. It could be shorter, to like 15 or 16, but with this I think we are gonna have good results. So let's, I wonder if, no, it's gonna be wider. Yeah. So we're gonna put the working yarn on the needle, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna fold this piece right here, and we're gonna try to do a we're gonna stitch into through the top like that. So we're gonna go into the first stitch on this side. Kind of have to get this open so you can really see. You might not want to do it super tight at first. You can always tighten it at the end. And then you want to pick up all of your stitches, your parallel stitches. Now because you did 9, you're going to have an extra one in theory. Now what you're going to do is you're going to work backwards and just make sure that this end is really secure. So I can, now that I've done all my stitches, I can do, I can unravel my scrap yarn at this end. Now we are going to, like I said, go back and finish up the side, and then we're going to use what we can to try to seam up the side here. So when I snipped this off, I snipped about 8 inches. I think it would be wise to snip more than that, maybe go 12 or so inches. So I'm just going to really make sure that this end is secure. So this is the final result. I'm happy enough with it. I think that there are definitely some things I would change with it. So this yarn, while I thought it would be great because tactilely it's very soft, it doesn't slide the marble around as easily as I would have hoped. It's not bad, but I don't know if it would be everyone's cup of tea. And so I think that upon sewing it and having that seam there, I think that 9 stitches wide is appropriate for your average size marble. You could also use the flat back decorative marbles if you want. And then I think it could, because the yarn stretches quite a bit, you could probably take about 4 or 5 rows off. So my final recommendation is doing this one with a yarn that will easily slide the marble around. So maybe just typical acrylic yarn would be better. And then the second thing is having it be 9 stitches wide. I think is a perfect one to fold over and put your marble in. And then second, I think you could do with 15 or 16 rows instead of 20 because it does stretch out and it gets a little bit longer, but it's still fun even with the measurements that I started out with. So let me know if you try to make this and tell me what you think. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.